Ta-da! I upgraded once again. Within 2 weeks, I upgraded for a second time. So allow me to introduce this OTMT, never heard of that make before. It is model SC4, which I looked up on the internet and I barely found any information about, but I found another make. I think it's SIEG, I don't know how to pronounce that. They make it under the same model SC4, and it's basically the same lathe. So I'm just assuming that it is made in the same Chinese factory, just under different brand. And it was kind of a surprise for me that I got it actually, because I was perfectly happy with my Grizzly. Well, it needed a little bit of work on the chuck and I was gonna do that, but surprisingly, this guy showed up and I was initially not very keen on buying it because, like I said, I already got a lathe 2 weeks ago. But this one has some features that I really like. It is basically brand new, barely ever used. There's no marks anywhere on the paint or nothing, but it sat for a long time and you see it started rusting here and there, the surface rusting, so we're gonna have to take care of that. Here the gibs will need to be adjusted. I don't know if you see that, but it has some play here on the compound, and in general it's gonna need work. But like I said, it has features that my other lathe didn't have. For example, variable speed motor with a readout here for the RPM. The other lathe, I had to change the belt in different pulleys and I had 6 fixed speeds between 150 and 2000 RPM. Here I have between 100 and 2400, I believe, RPM variable. So I have 2400 fixed speeds here. It has one very important feature, which is power feed on a cross slide, which the other lathe didn't have. And of course, let's address the elephant in the room. It has this mill head, which initially I was like, everything that is designed to do too many jobs doesn't do even one good job. But to be honest, it started growing on me. You know, the lathe is a lathe. This is attachment, this is a separate. It's not like those lathes where the mill head is designed to be together with the lathes and all that. They come together and they're inseparable. This is just an attachment. You can buy only the lathe and you can buy the attachment separately and bolt it in the back. It has its own controls right here, and the only thing that connects it to the lathe is the power cable, which can be plugged into the wall directly instead of to the lathe. Because I've seen lathe mill combos where you have a lever here and you either work the lathe or the mill, and if you want to separate them you can't because the controls for the mill are here on the lathe. This is separate, so I don't know, maybe, like I'm thinking as an option, maybe it's just in a thought for now, I might detach the head from the lathe and buy just one of these XY tables and build my own mill. I don't know, we'll see, that's some plan for the future. But anyway, and it has one very important feature as well. It has a chuck key holder, which is very convenient. So hopefully I'm not gonna leave the key in the chuck. I can put it in its holder over there, or like that. I love that. Like I said, I'm gonna need to do a lot of work on it first to clean it up, lubricate it, and make sure that everything is good to go. I haven't even tested it yet. I mean, I turned it a little bit, but I haven't made any chips with it yet. So if you're interested, let me show you all the features for the lathe, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the mill part as well, which, like I said, it started growing on me, because I might be able to kind of use it, even though it is very inconvenient using it right here. All right, so we can turn it on, emergency button off, and it comes on, and here we go. We have start and stop button. We start it, it starts at the minimum RPM, which is 100, and then we can increase the RPM gradually. So it goes by tens. So I don't have 2400 fixed speeds, I have 240 only. So Don't want to go too high because I don't know when it was lubricated last, so I don't want to kill it. And then you can stop it. When you start it again, it goes to the same speed that you left it on before. Now, if you turn it off, then it's going to go to the minimum speed. And I like that it stops so fast. It doesn't go by momentum. Like it does 2-3 more revolutions before it stops, but anyway. And of course it has a reverse. This knob here disconnects the head from the motor because this way it is connected. But if you turn it this way, it disconnects it. And I'm like, why the heck do you need that? But there's actually a very good reason for it, and we're going to talk about it later. And now let's see the carriage. The carriage has this option here where, of course, you can move it manually. But you can actually pull the wheel out and then it just spins freely. I'm not really sure why that is and whether it's helpful or actually it hurts you, because once you disconnect it, now you're losing your reference here. If you have the carriage zeroed somewhere to a certain position, say here, and now you can always go back and forth to this position. Of course, you have to consider the backlash and all that. But if I pull this out, now I can engage it in different way, and now I lost my zero. So I don't know why that is, but it is there anyways. Of course, we have the cross slide and we have the compound that go back and forth. That's normal. This is a quick change tool post that comes separately, but it's a good option to have. And of course we have our power feed, which is actually, this is the half nut engage. And there you go. And now because we're spinning backwards, it's feeding this way. If let's actually put it in the right way. Okay. Now it is feeding this way. Good, so that's half nut for threads. And we also have this here, power feed. You see, it goes really slow. When we engage the half nut, you see how fast it goes. Be careful not to hit the chuck there. And this one goes really slow. But what's most important is that if you leave this up, look at that. We have power feed on the cross lead. That's a great option because that allows you to make really clean facing on parts. And that's it. We don't have power feed for this, but if you want to, you can put a screw gun here, like a drill with a socket, and have a slow power feed for this as well, which is useful sometimes when you cut tapers and stuff like that. Okay, enough. This is also a very cool option. On my other lathe, on the Grizzly, that I owned for 2 weeks, for the tailstock you had to use a wrench to loosen it, slide it where you want it, and tighten it. This one is locked now. That unlocks it, and now it's locked again. It is so much better this way. And the quill and all that, it has a Morse tenon 2 here, so you can put Jacob's chuck there, or life center or dead center or whatever you want to use. It has a Morse tenon 3 on this side on the spindle. Right now we have a 4-inch chuck installed here, 3-jaw, but with the lathe I also got a 5-inch 4-jaw chuck that I can use. And because I'm an asshole, I kept the 2 5-inch chucks from my other lathe. With that lathe I had 2 4-inch chucks and 2 5-inch chucks. I sold it with the 2 4-inch chucks. I kept the 5-inch chucks, so now I have multiple chucks here. So that's about the lathe. Now the mill part. Now for the mill, it has a Morse tenon 2 for tool holding, and I have those collets that came with the lathe that are MS2. Never heard of this actually, and I barely was able to find anything on the internet about them until I figured it out. It is very simple. What MS2 collet is, it fits inside the Morse 10 and 2 taper, and it has threads in the back for a drawbar, which drawbar is basically a bolt. So when I bought the lathe, this fell off. I didn't know what it was. I just kept it, and now I realize that's my drawbar. So if I put that inside the spindle and I put the collet underneath, I can tighten it. I can put my tool, I can tighten it, and now it's going to hold my tool. So that's great. However, I don't like how the mill is mounted here. It is too close to the chuck, but it is not related to the chuck in any way. I mean, look at that. You see, the center of the chuck is not aligned with the center of the quill. At least if the head of the mill was centered with the chuck, I could do some features on a part that is mounted on the chuck, right? But I can't do anything like that. Also, the column is fixed. It is bolted here. This bracket is bolted to the base of the lathe, and the column is fixed to that bracket, so it doesn't move anywhere. And it is super tight here. I mean, look how close to the chuck it is. If it is fixed and it doesn't have anything to do with the chuck, why didn't they mount it here? So you can remove the tailstock completely, and then you have a lot more room. Because how it is meant to be, if this acts as your mill table, you can remove this compound from here and you can mount a vise, which I have. It's a 3-inch vise again. It came with the lathe, so you have to remove the compound every time, mount your vise, and then you have your y-axis and your x-axis, right, for your mill. But you don't have a lot of movement here on your x-axis because your chuck is here. You have to remove the chuck, then you're going to have a little bit more real estate here. But I don't understand why. Of course, I can take it out and drill another set of holes here, 2 more holes on this side, and use these 2 holes for this side, so move it by the width of the bracket, and then I'm gonna have more room. But I don't understand why they did it this way. But what is great is that for the mill part, actually, that's where this knob comes in place. You can turn it to the right, disengage the chuck, and now you have power feed here. If you turn it on, even though you're not using the lathe, you're using the mill, which has its own controls from here. Say, you see, it's doing whatever you want to do. For that part, you don't need the lathe. You can just do it with the mill. Oh, actually you do. Yeah, because it's plugged in into the lathe in the back, but it is one of these wires which you can just take a computer wire, of course, have your gauge, and plug it into the wall. You don't need it in the lathe. So yeah, you do need the lathe to be turned on so you can use the mill, but you don't need the motor of the lathe to spin. However, if you want to have power feed, then you can turn the motor on of the lathe, and now you have your screw spinning here. You see it inside? And since the screw is spinning, now you can use the power feed on the table. You have your power feed on your x-axis, and you also have your power feed on your y-axis of the mill table, as this appears to be right now. So that's a great feature. So the power feed is the only reason why I'm thinking maybe I should keep it as it is, maybe just move it by the width of this bracket towards here so I have more room. I don't know. It's something that I'm gonna decide if I want to do or not. Maybe I can try and do a couple of jobs here with the mill as it is here, The problem is that this way you can't really do very precise work. When you have a dedicated mill with a table, you put your vise on the table and you indicate it, and you know that it is square with the head and all that. But to indicate the vise on the table, it takes like, sometimes it might take you half an hour. And to do that here, just for one job, and then remove the vise and put the compound back so I can work on the lathe. And there are many jobs that require a mill and a lathe, so switching back and forth is going to be a disaster, but I don't know, I can try. Anyways, that's it. I ordered another set of collets, ER32. I love those. I'm not a big fan of these. I also ordered a collet holder for the ER32 collet with MT2 taper for here. And I also ordered a cheap holder for my ER32 collets that I'm going to modify so I can put in a 4-jaw chuck. So once the collet holder is indicated in the chuck, I can always put in and out different parts, no problem. So it's going to be fun. It's definitely a better option than my little 7x8 mini lathe, and it's even a better option than my Grizzly G4000 lathe that I bought and I owned for 2 weeks. When I bought that lathe, I was thinking that I'm gonna have it for at least 20 years. Turns out I owned it for 2 weeks, and then I upgraded to this one. So of course this one is much better, but it's of course more expensive as well. So anyways, I think it's a good investment and it's gonna do us well. Oh, and by the way, all this came with the lathe too. So this is the original tool holder. We have a couple of Jacobs chucks here, different sizes, MT2 and MT3 centers, so I can run stock between centers, a live center in the back, even reamers here, different sizes, end mills, 2-flute and 4-flute, indexable end mill with carbide insert. These are some cutting tools as well, indexable, mounting clamps for the table, the vise. These are the mounting clamps for the vise, so you can mount it to the table. Of course, you can mount stuff directly to the table. You don't need to install the vise, so it might be easier to do it that way instead of indicating vise and stuff like that. 1, 2, 3 blocks. These are the different size collets that I told you, the MS2. Parallels, different thicknesses. This is the 4-jaw chuck that I told you, 5-inch, and a rotary table. So lots of stuff with this lathe that is gonna be pretty useful. And of course I have my old stuff here that I haven't organized yet. I also kept this quick change tool post from my Grizzly. I bought it separately, so of course I didn't sell it with the lathe. I kept it because I think I'm gonna install it here, because this is a little bit too small. Look at the tool holders, for example, for this one, and this is the tool holder for this lathe. It looks like a baby. Anyway, that's it. I'm pretty happy with it. So let me get to cleaning, polish a little bit everywhere, get rid of the surface rust, lubricate it. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of WD-40 now. I don't really want to use Scotch-Brite, so I grabbed one of these sponges, kitchen sponges that have something like Scotch-Brite here, but it's not so aggressive. So I'm just gonna try to get rid of all the surface rust, and we're gonna keep it lubricated. We're gonna lubricate all the little points where it needs to be lubricated, and we're gonna put it to good use. All right, so that looks better now. I'm much happier when the machine surfaces are a little bit shinier. Of course, they are not perfect, but hey, it's better than rusted machine surfaces, right? Looks much better now. So, like I said, I still have lots of work to do on it. I have to adjust the gibs here, and I don't think I'm gonna do it in video because I don't feel very confident yet in those things, but I'm gonna have to trim the head to be square to the table, and I'm gonna indicate the chuck. Of course, it's a 3-jaw this one, so there's always gonna be a run out, but I wanna see how much it is, and we might correct it if it is too much. we're gonna indicate the spindle on the mill, and we will see how everything goes. But again, there's so many videos on YouTube that explain all these things that it's crazy, done by specialists, people who do that for their entire life. So I don't feel confident enough to do it in video and explain what I'm doing, because I'm just a beginner in machining, especially in the milling. The lathe, I kind of done stuff on my mini lathe, but it is mini lathe is a mini lathe, you know, it's a toy. Here we have a little bit of a more professional machine, even though it is 9-inch. Did I mention that? It's 9 by 16. I don't think I did. And I didn't mention that, but unfortunately for the pitch, for when you make threads, you have to change gears again here at the back. It's not with levers, you know, bigger lathes, they have levers. Here you just turn a lever this way, turn a lever that way, and now you have 28 TPI, and then you turn another lever and you have 24 TPI. Here you have to go through the entire process and change gears here in the back, but we have all the gears as well, so it's not a problem. The Grizzly that I bought didn't have all the gears. Apparently the previous owner told me that it came without all the gears, you have to buy them separately. I don't know. So that's how I sold it as well. But here we have the whole set, so whenever we need to make threads, we can make that. So anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I hope that it was interesting for you. If you're a machinist, probably not, but if you're not a machinist, maybe it's interesting to see what all the levers on a lathe do, and a mill apparently. So there are going to be videos, of course, when we're making parts here. I'm going to show you. Of course, all the videos are going to begin with, I am not a professional machinist, so don't judge me too bad. I'm learning. And don't quote me on this and don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's how my videos are going to be. But we're going to make parts together. We're going to make some chips together. Then you're going to criticize me, of course. You're going to tell me, don't leave the key in the chuck, or don't leave it up there because it's going to fall and it's going to hit the part as it's spinning, and it's going to hit you in the face. Believe me, this magnet is pretty strong. It's not going to fall that easy. Or don't wear long sleeves. Don't forget your safety goggles. I know all the comments already. So anyways, that's going to be it, guys. I hope that this machine is going to help us in our future endeavors in our Rusty Beauties shop. And then tomorrow you're going to see me with a bigger lathe. No, I think we're keeping this one for now. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.